but I know that it sort of speaks to the fact that a lot of parties are coming together at the same position. So Infrastructure Australia shared this 10-point, or which I think you shared too, or you liked, this 10-point principles underpinning an infrastructure recovery as far as they're concerned. I'm not going to read out all 10, and we'll put them up when we dissect these and put them out again. We'll make sure that they're in the background. But there was one again which picks up on your point, and it was number 8, I think, from memory. And I'll read that one: increased collaboration and openness in contracting. So it's good that major umbrella associations are starting to see things through the same prism.
Yeah, it is, and especially so given that this is a federal government agency that is saying this. I think that the missing link in achieving real change is the feds jumping on board and exerting some influence here. We've tried with state governments, so that in New South Wales and Victoria, you've got the Construction Industry Leadership Forum, which is those two governments and ACA, which has been around for 2 years and starting to get some traction, and there's some good stuff happening there. Here in Queensland, when I was at QMCA, contacted the government, and we initiated the Infrastructure Industry Steering Committee, which was a similar process to push for change. But ultimately, there's got to be an appetite for that change, or there's got to be some pressure to adopt that change. There's starting to become a burning platform for change within the state, so that's good. But I think there's also an opportunity for the feds to push down. They, from a major infrastructure perspective, they pay the lion's share of the cost for these projects. So any sort of major road project or hospital project or whatever, you're looking at a contribution of around 80% of the cost of it. So that's significant. But I went down to Canberra last year, my first sort of trip to walk the halls of Parliament House down there and meet some people. And one of there was a couple of key takeaways for me. One was the fact that as compared to 1 William Street, people seem to be walking around with a whole lot more purpose to their day job. But that maybe I should be careful what I say. But the other thing was the fact that they advised us that they don't put any substantial preconditions on how that money is spent. I think the only thing is the Aboriginal Indigenous content, the 3% content, is the only thing that precondition that they put on that spend. And I just said, this is absolutely crazy. You're trying to, as a government, you're trying to drive a productivity agenda. You're trying to improve the nation's economic productivity. Why, just taking that as an example, why aren't you using that to drive initiatives that are going to lead to improved productivity? And so one of the things that, coming back to those sort of 3 documents I mentioned earlier and the process that we're going to go forward with, we're going to look to try to engage potentially IA as the vehicle for this. And that's why I was quite pleased to see that they come out with this, to push for change within the states and to, I'd like to say incentivize, because we're always talking about incentivization rather than big sticks, but governments always seem to just prefer the big sticks. But if there's some ways to incentivize that, I think that the feds have got a really big part to play in that.